All right, welcome back. In part one, we went way back, tracing money to its most ancient roots. Now, we're picking up right where we left off, continuing our journey through the work of Dr. ARA KARYAN. We're about to explore a pretty radical transformation, how money stopped being a physical thing and became purely an idea. So let's dive right in.
And this quote from Dr. Karyan really is the perfect place to start. You know, for most of human history, money was something you could actually hold in your hand. A shell, a coin, a bar of gold. But to really get where money is headed, you have to wrap your mind around this huge shift. Money isn't an object anymore. It's an idea, an intangible concept born in our collective imagination.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap from our last explainer. The very first form of money, well, it wasn't a coin at all. It was an idea. It was a shared public record, a ledger of who owed what to whom inside a community. And the whole system was built on one thing: trust.
And this is just the perfect picture of that. I mean, these massive stones were literally a public, permanent, unchangeable record of every single transaction. It was a system of collective memory. And believe it or not, this ancient concept of a decentralized ledger, well, it's making a huge comeback.
But hang on, before we jump into the future, we really need to understand the peak of physical money. We need to see how that abstract idea of a ledger got hammered and forged into metal coins, powerful tools of control and identity. And we're going to do that by looking at some absolutely fascinating examples from Armenian history.
First up, King Tigranes the Great. His rule was the absolute peak of power for the Kingdom of Armenia, and you better believe his coins were designed to broadcast that authority and wealth to everyone. You see, every single detail on this coin was a very deliberate message. That unique tiara, only his dynasty, the Artatakiads, could wear it. The star and the eagles, those were symbols of the royal family. This wasn't just money. It was literally propaganda in your pocket, a constant, jangling reminder of exactly who was in charge.
Now let's move forward in time a bit, because Armenian coins started to do something more than just project power. They started becoming these little canvases for national identity. And this is perfectly shown in the coins of the co-rulers King Tigranes IV and his sister queen, Arato.
This is such a fascinating move. This coin is incredibly rare, and it's one of the very first to actually show the two peaks of Mount Ararat. By doing this, the rulers were literally stamping the value of their money with the geographical and spiritual heart of the entire Armenian nation. Money and national identity were becoming one and the same. And this evolution just kept on going. Centuries later, during the Bagratid dynasty, coins took on an even deeper level of meaning. They weren't just about power or land anymore. They started to represent culture itself. Okay, this coin from King Kuryake II is a total landmark. For one, it's got an image of Jesus Christ, which shows the kingdom's deep Christian faith. But here's the real kicker. It is the earliest known Armenian coin to have writing in the Armenian language. This is it. This is the moment currency completely fuses with the kingdom's unique faith and culture. So this timeline really puts it all into perspective. Way back around 100 BC, you've got commodity money. Coins like the ones from Tigranes the Great had actual value in the metal itself, and they were symbols of state power. Then, bam, 1971 happens. A massive shift. The US dollar is cut loose from gold, and that launches the era of fiat money. That's money that's only backed by trust in a government. And then, 2009, another massive rupture, the birth of a whole new digital paradigm.
And we really can't overstate how huge this was. The creation of Bitcoin back in 2009 brought forth an idea that was just as revolutionary as ditching the gold standard, the idea that money could exist completely separate from any government, from any central bank.
What Dr. Karyan's work really highlights is how this created two parallel universes for money. In one universe, you've got our traditional fiat currency. It's issued by governments, controlled by governments, and its value is based on our trust in that government. But in the other universe, it's a completely different ballgame. It can be issued by anyone, it's controlled by a decentralized network, and its value comes purely from social agreement.
And this analogy just captures the scale of this change perfectly. For centuries, controlling money has been one of the main jobs of the state. It's just what they do. So this idea of separating them, it feels radical, and it forces us to ask a really fundamental question. Where should economic power actually come from?
So that brings us to the crucial question, right? If there's no government backing this new digital money, where on earth does its value come from? What makes it trustworthy?
Yeah, that is the big question.
If anybody can just whip up a new currency, why would anyone use it? And the answer, amazingly, brings us full circle, all the way back to the oldest form of value we know: social agreement. So just imagine this for a second. In this possible future, a currency's value could be tied directly to the reputation of the person or group who created it. Think about a world where the most valuable money is issued by the people and organizations that do the most good for society. That would totally transform money from a tool of control into a reward for service. You know, when you take a step back and look at this whole story, from giant stones with carvings to lines of digital code, a really surprising pattern starts to emerge. It kind of feels like we're coming full circle, right back to where we began. Think back to those ancient stone ledgers. They were decentralized, right? No single person owned them, but they were a closed system. Trust was based on being part of a small, tight-knit community. Now, look at a modern blockchain. It's also a decentralized public record. But here's the critical difference. It's an open system. Trust isn't based on knowing your neighbor. It's based on transparent, verifiable code that anyone in the world can look at and inspect. So, in the end, the story of money has always just been the story of human agreement. We've watched it evolve from a physical record of trust to a tool of empire, and now it's transforming yet again. So the question for all of us is no longer just, what is money? The real question now is, what do we as a global community want it to become? This whole explainer has been based on the incredible work of Dr. ARA KARYAN. If you want to dive even deeper into cryptocurrencies, digital business, and the wild future of finance, you can find the links to his social pages down in the description. Thanks so much for watching.